The purpose for this tutorial is to talk about how to set the gradebook up. And we're going to assume that everybody's using percentages here. So in taking the calculations you see in front of you into consideration, let's assume that these are the calculations that are on your course syllabus. You want to set your gradebook up so that all of the items and assignments, the homeworks, everything is calculated appropriately for a good final student grade. So I moved the grade calculation out of the way. You're not looking at it at this time, and we're going to be working inside the grade center. That's where the grade book and all the setting the assignments up so that they work with the percentages correctly. We do all of that in the grade center. After logging in, go to the grade center and then go to the full grade center. Now you're going to see that I have someone in my class, and you will also notice that I have some assignments already listed. The one thing that I want to bring to your attention is the first time that you log into your grade center, you're going to see a weighted total and you're going to see a total. Let me explain the difference between these two. If you are using a percentage-based gradebook, such as the one that you see before you right now, you want to use the weighted total column. That means you need to get rid of the other one. If you're using a points-based gradebook, then you'll want to get rid of the weighted, and instead you'll want to use total, because what total does is it adds up the number of points that a student receives for each activity or assignment. We recommend the weighted total because most people's syllabi look like this. So I'm going to demonstrate that one. If you're interested in knowing more about how a points-based system can work, we can work on that one-on-one. But because we are going to use a weighted total for the example gradebook, I'm going to get rid of the total. I'm going to click this drop-down arrow and I'm going to say delete column, and it's gone. So that when your screen refreshes, you only have the weighted total, you no longer have the total column. Now obviously you have certain categories that count for a certain amount of percentage based on the final grade. So we need to create these categories and assign the percentages accordingly. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Mouse over the Manage hyperlink and then go to Categories. And at that point in time, it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. Now in Blackboard, there are certain categories that are already created for you. You can't delete these. You can't do anything with these. They are already there for you. You cannot use them, and you can hide them if you choose not to use them, and that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create some categories that are going to align with what your syllabus states. So the first thing we're going to do is create a category called Homework. Then we'll create a category called Tests, another one called Midterm, then Final. Then we're going to go back to our weighted category and assign the percentages. So I'm going to create the category called Homework first. That's all there is to it. And so you'll notice that this is the one that we created, and notice that it gives you the option of getting rid of it or making some changes to it. We're going to create one called Tests, and we're going to create one called Midterm, we're going to create one called Final. Again, these align with the percentages that make up the student's final grade. Now I'm going to click on Full Grade Center to take us back so that we'll have access to our weighted total. Mouse over the drop-down arrow next to Weighted Total, click, and Edit Column Information. You'll notice the title of the column. It's set to percentage, And this is the place where we decide which categories and which percentages to assign. What you're looking at now in the selected columns, these are those categories that were provided by default by Blackboard, and we're just going to ignore them. So the first category we're going to deal with is homework, then tests, then midterm, then final. So we're going to go to the homework category, move it over. This is our homework category. We're going to assign it 30%. Just like our rubric states. And you will notice that you have some options. I'm not going to read them for you. You can see how that works. And you'll notice that our total weight so far is 30%. The next item on our list is tests, or our tests. And I'm going to move that guy over. Tests equal 40%. I can make any adjustments that I wish to make on that as well. We're up to 70%. The next in our list is the midterm. I'll move that over. It counts for 15%. And the last thing on our list is the final. I move that over. Where did it go? Maybe there it is. And I'll tell it it needs to be worth 15% as well. We now have 100% as our total. You have some options. I'm going to click Submit. And we have created these categories. So far, we've located the weighted total and then the total category. We deleted the total category because we're working with weights, otherwise known as percentages. We've also created some categories on the back side that align with the rubric that will determine the student's final grade. You can't see those because they're hidden. If we wanted to make it so that we could see those, there's a way to do that. And I can show you that, but oftentimes it just confuses students. I'm going to leave it off at this time. So now that we have our rubric and our categories all set up, we need to make sure that all of our assignments are in the appropriate category. So I have a chapter 27-1 assignment. I'm going to edit the information. And as I scroll down, one of the things that you will notice is it asks me which category it belongs to. And I'm going to say that it belongs in the homework category. I'm going to click Submit. So now that calculation will go in that homework category, which counts for 30% of the final grade. I'm going to go to this item, edit the column information. I'm going to select the appropriate category, and I'm going to say, excuse me, click the wrong one. I'm going to click Homework and click Submit. So now these two assignments are in the appropriate category. Now, this is a test. This is the Chapter 27 test, and I need to make sure that it aligns with the appropriate category. Tests. So I've done that. I have a couple of other assignments. This is an exam. I'm actually going to throw, oh, I don't want to edit the tests, sorry. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw that one into the, where's my edit column? There it is. I'm having a click and fit here. I'm going to throw it into the category for midterm, just for the heck of it. And I'm going to throw the final one into the final category, just for the heck of it. Now we have something assigned to each category. Now, if you have columns, and you will have columns, that you're not interested in seeing, for instance, you may not care because you have the student's last name, because you have the student's first name, you can identify the student. You may not care about knowing the username. You can hide that so that you don't have to view it. Now it's gone. You may not care about their source ID. You probably don't even know what that means. So I got rid of that. You do have a really cool column that shows the last time the student accessed the course, which is really kind of cool. And you have something called availability, whether they're online right now or not. I'm going to hide that. Okay, so now the weighted column is picking up on all of the things that I've actually assigned. I skipped a few things just to speed up the process, but now the weighted column is picking up on all of the assignments. It's picking up on all the calculations, and Samantha Marchant appears to be doing very well. I have her in there twice because she has two different accounts, and it was just easy for me to use her to do that. That's how you set up your gradebook, and there are all kinds of different nuances associated with the gradebook, but this is the gist of how it works. Now go into your Sandbox course and do the exercises that are found in your workbook, starting with page 31.